god, that is incredible. I can actually pause this. Little did I know. You are welcome, my child. Now you know this information. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Ivan the Terrible here, bringing you another fantastic video. I know. I've been gone for a little while. So I'm still trying to figure out a good way of doing the work, life, YouTube, everything else, hobbies, sleep, balance that I need to do in order to bring you guys some content, try to keep it regular, and hopefully grow my channel from there with you lovely mother effers, and overall just get to contribute to the conservative voice out here on YouTube. So as far as this video, let's talk about my birth month, which happens to also be Pride Month. Fan-freaking-tastic. But so, yep, we're celebrating Pride Month. The month completely dedicated to the LGBTQ group, which, if anybody remembers, so back when it used to be the LGBTQ, back then used to just be the gay and lesbian crew. All they wanted was parades. They just want to be able to have parades to celebrate. That's fine. And then it changed into, I believe, a day. That's fine. And then it became a week. Okay, I guess. And then it became a month. And now you ask yourselves, but Ivan, a month is fine. Why is that a big problem? Well, here's why I have a giant problem with that. I already think that it is crazy to believe that we do certain months as dedications for a certain group of people. I think that's a little crazy because most people on the left will sit there and argue to you, well, white history month is every day, essentially. Every day is about the patriarchy and the suppression and the racism of the white folk on every other folk. So thus we needed Black History Month. Now, if I remember right, it was Denzel Washington. I may be getting my characters confused here, but I'm pretty positive that some time ago Denzel Washington did an interview where he was talking about the whole Black History Month. And he flat out said, no, I don't believe we should be trying to dedicate a certain time for being about Black history, because then instead of it being where everyone is the same, we're all on the same page, yes, this country went through a racist time. We all can agree that that is bad, but we progress as a society, and then last I checked, it was actually a bunch of white guys who ended up submitting and fighting for blacks having their own rights. And yet, that seems to be forgotten. As we're going through the Antifa period of our history where we're tearing down statues and anybody who, was born before, 1986 was a colonialist racist that produced nothing but hatred and sorrow and death. People forget about that little fact. They forget that the people who pushed for women's rights were a bunch of white guys. People forget that people who voted in Roe v. Wade was a bunch of white guys. Old white guys. And yet, we're basically led to believe that all those things, the things that pushed an agenda for blacks, Hispanics, women, abortion, everything else, that somehow it was those people who actually brought that into fruition. But that's not true. So, going back to the LGBTQ AARP groups, I'm fine with anybody loving whoever they want. I'm not a religious person, and I say, you know what? You do you, boo-boo. Whatever makes you happy, that's fine. Just keep me out of it, just the same way I keep you out of my life and my personal love interests. Now, that used to just be a pretty typical standpoint. You do you, I do me. You leave me alone, I'm gonna leave you alone. But we've now progressed to the point where, and people aren't really noticing this, it's not becoming oh, just leave me alone. You do your thing, I do mine. It's, I'm going to push onto you what I do, and you need to not only respect it, you need to essentially worship it. You need to be in line with it. You need to just let it be part of your life too. The other day, I was reading an article talking about how transgenders are saying that in order to respect them, in order to grace them with your acceptance in the world, you have to be okay with dating a transgender. And if you don't, then it's because you're transphobic and because you hate transgenders, blah. And that to me is one of the craziest things I think I have heard in my whole life. That if you choose to not date a transgender, that essentially means that they don't have the rights, to be a person or whatever the hell else. And I have to sometimes ask, what in the because let's be real here. You can make a decision of whoever you want to date. I have a type. I know plenty of friends who have types. I have some friends who lie and say that they do not have types. They have types. But at the end of the day, you can choose to date whomever you want, of whatever history, whatever background, whatever religion, whatever ethnicity, whatever thing you want in the world. You can make that decision. And if you choose not to, if you choose to say, hey, I don't want to date somebody with brown eyes, okay, that's fine. You just go ahead. Don't date somebody with brown eyes. And if that's how shallow you want to be, that's cool. I have certain things I'm shallow about, and I admit it, and that is totally fine. One thing I think is insane in this society is that we are attacking everybody for having their own personal beliefs, their own decisions, their own things that they like and dislike. It's as if we are expecting everybody to be on the same exact page about every single thing, or else you're a bigot, a homophobe, a racist, you name it, add the ist in there, and that's what you are if you don't conform to everything at the same exact time. But now, something that I think is crazy. We are in Pride Month. We are also talking about this whole Roe versus Wade court filing. Talking about how it's an assault on women's rights, an assault on women's bodies. But here's what's nuts. Just yesterday, Matt Walsh released his movie, What is a Woman? Which my wife and I are actually going to be watching today, so I am super excited about getting to watch that. Let's see if by the next video I make, I get to make some fun comments about that. I've already seen some snippets here and there. But he released that on purpose right at the beginning of Pride Month to reinforce that we're talking about all these things that relate to a difference from just being a cisgender woman and being LGBTQ, AARP, whatever else. And what's nuts is that nobody can say from the left what is a woman. They can't define it. And anytime they try to define it, it essentially just is, it's everything, but it's nothing at the same time. And does nobody on the left realize that all that this is doing is it's creating the erasure of women? You are literally saying women are so malleable, and a man can be a woman. So you're essentially saying, why do you need women? If a man can be a woman, if now we're doing uterus transplants or trying to do uterus transplants so that a male can give birth to a baby, then what purpose is a woman going to have in the earth? That's a question I have for you leftists, anybody watching. Why is it that we're trying to erase women? Why are we trying to make it that men can be women? Why are men able to compete in women's sports, absolutely decimate them in sports, have top records, get the first places and everything, get the records of whatever, swimming, weightlifting, wrestling, everything else, and poor women just have to suck it up and get second place, third place, fourth place, Well, hell, even be completely taken off the competition in general because, well, when you have a competition, there's only so many people that can compete in it. So if you add in one or two or three or four or five or six biological males in there, that's up to that many biological females that are taken off the bottom of the totem pole. That's a big deal. I would have an incredibly big problem if I had a daughter in sports and I found out that she was unable to compete because there's X amount of biological males that are taking over, or she's actually really good at her sport and she loses because there's a biological male who just beat the living daylights out of her because of, mild physiological differences. Dedicating an entire month to Pride Month, to me, feels wrong. I'm Portuguese, and if they decided, hey, you know what? We're going to respect the Portuguese population and we're going to do an entire month to celebrate Portuguese people, I would completely disagree with that too. And I mean, hell, at least Portuguese people have a history in the world of, hey, we used to, own half the earth and then we discovered wine and everything fell from there. Just kidding. Calm down, calm down. We knew about wine before. Our downfall was coming. We know that. But really, I would disagree with it because I would say everybody's the same. I treat everybody equally. I hate everybody the same, like everybody the same. And that's, to me, how you should treat everybody around you in your life. Now, going with the Pride Month, everybody sees how so many woke companies, all that they are doing is pandering to a group of people that essentially say, if you do not acknowledge us, that is essentially an assault to us. So you need to acknowledge us, you need to promote us, you need to everything. And to me, that's messed up on a lot of different levels. Because why do I care if they make a Oreo commercial, as they did recently, about somebody coming out? What does Oreo have to do with this? Anybody, please explain that to me. What does a black and white cookie, which I mean right there, we can just talk about racism all day and all night. Pun intended with day and night. But what does a black and white cookie have to do with being LGBTQ AARP? Anybody? I don't understand why. What does NASCAR have to do with it? What does North Face have to do with it? And hell, insert the name of almost any company, and most of them will probably have something that they can contribute to. Oh, yeah, here's our, pro gay, pro everything else message. And you ask yourself, all right, here's what you sell, here's what you do. What does that have anything to do with that? And the answer is, most of them don't. But it's these people who reach out to these companies and essentially say, oh, hey, what's your opinion on the transgender movement or the lesbian, gay, everything else movement? And if they say, honestly, nothing, has nothing to do with us. Like, we make products for whoever wants to buy them. If you want to buy them, awesome. You don't want to buy them, that's awesome too. But they don't want to do that. These companies don't want to have the swarm and the hate mob attack them because, oh my god, the North Face, declined to respond to any nonsense about LGBTQ. What does that have to do with anything? Let them be. Let them do their business. You do your business. Now, if you want to talk about some company that actually is doing something pro their cause, then okay, go for it. Make whatever you want to do during Pride Month. But I don't understand what any of that has to do with pandering all these companies to their group. And then guess what? As soon as June is done, it's gone. All that stuff is gone. They're like, we are done. We were able to appease them. We didn't get attacked by them this time. We were able to make them happy enough. Hopefully we'll survive next year too. Now, that sounds to me like a mob. That sounds like something you'd see in a mob movie, them doing, where it's, during that time they're coming to collect protection money And as soon as they do that, you're like, oh man, thank God. Oh, thank God. I'll maybe until next month or whenever else they're collecting. But here we are in clown world where the crazy is just what's going to happen the next day, and all the things that us conservatives say, oh hey, this is going to happen if you let this go on, and everyone says, no, that's never going to happen, you just crazy boy. Well, here we are. And yet no time have I sat there and had my friends who I've had these very interesting conversations with turn later to me and gone, hey man, you know what, you were right. Now, here's the crazy thing. I know that I'm right. They know that I'm right. They just don't want to say it. And you know who I'm talking about. Those friends who you have a conversation about and say, hey, this is going to happen. They deny it, tooth and nail. They fight you on every turn. And then as soon as it happens, nada. In other news, let's talk about this Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. So it's a monumentous day where finally the verdict came in and they found that Amber Heard was wrong. That lying snake-faced you-know-what finally got called out, and it's a giant blow to the hashtag #MeToo movement, which I think was a long time coming. I don't recall any other big name #MeToo movement case that has actually gone in favor of the man. And this is a big one because let's recall, Amber Heard came out with, Johnny Depp physically and mentally abused me. And because of that, during the height of this Me Too movement, Johnny Depp's career got demolished. He basically became overnight blacklisted in Hollywood, lost his seat at Pirates of the Caribbean, and just his life basically started getting ruined. Now he was radioactive and nobody wanted anything to do with him. All because this chick accused him of something. Now, I'm all for, hey, anybody wants to come out with a claim of anything? Let's investigate it. That's fine. Guy, girl, something in between. I really don't care. But the idea of believe all women. Who believes this? Who in their right mind actually sits there and says to themselves, you know what? We should believe all women whenever they come up with any of these accusations. Just flat out. That's it. Now imagine that. Imagine you're in court and you're a guy. So even if you're not a guy, just close your eyes. Think about being a man. I mean, nowadays, all you really have to do is just tell yourself you're a man, open your eyes, and clap your heels a couple times, and you're a man. So, join me in the manhood. All you have to do, as a female, is say to a man, hey, you raped me. And the guy goes, who are you? And then all of a sudden you're in court, and the judge literally just looks at you, looks at the man, and goes, are you a woman? You go, yes. Guilty. And the guy's like, what the hell just happened? That would be the idea of believe all women. Because as a man, you can't stand up and say, actually, no, this is not true. And let's keep in mind, we live in the United States of America. It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. So, no different than the Brett Kavanaugh, him getting sworn in. There was so much taxpayer money and time put into his little investigation that let's recall what turned out with that. Whatever her name is, Christine Ford, there was a party that nobody can say happened at a house that no one can say where it is, that doesn't exist, during a time that wouldn't have made any modicum of sense. The people who were involved say, no, I was not involved. Her friends even said, yeah, no, I've never heard about this, and I'm her closest friend. And then let's also keep in mind the other subtle little thing that they try to avoid. Christine Ford is a psychologist. So if she knows anything about how to make yourself believe that something happened, even if it didn't happen, that's her. She is a prime person to convince herself of something happening. Which, again, wow, that's crazy. Brett Kavanaugh was, a powerful person in the judicial system, and you only decide to bring this up only when he's getting sworn into the highlight career of his career, the highlight move in his career. And that's when you decide to finally pull out this thing that you've had in your closet for how many decades? Yeah, that's not coincidental whatsoever. Yeah, I'm sure that's completely natural. But with Amber Heard, it was exactly that. As soon as she says, "Oh yep, Johnny Depp did this," everybody believed her, and everybody just decided to say, "All right, well, let's blacklist Johnny Depp and ruin his career and his life over this chick saying that he did some things that she has no proof of." And now this court actually found that she was the one who defamed him, that she accused him of things that never happened. Now, if I remember right, they paid Johnny Depp $15 million, or he won to get $15 million, and for some reason Amber Heard's still getting $2 million. I'm sure that's just one of those, "Oh, please don't attack me with the Me Too movement. Let's just give her a little bit of money." I don't doubt that even for 1 second. But I think this is a big monumental win in the let's fight the Me Too movement and make it so, you know what, it's fair. You can make an accusation of somebody, come with proof, and back up what you're saying. That doesn't make any difference whether you're a man, a woman, something in between, transitioning, makes no difference. But that wraps it up for this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you guys soon. I've been Terrible out.